The economy was booming along the Maine coast in the 1850s. Lime quarrying and shipbuilding was the main reason, and both these industries is what put Rockland, Maine on the map. And for industrious Maine and greater New England, there were other commodities as well, such as building materials, tools, furnishings, even wagons, and of course, Rockland's lime. The hurried demand for these supplies on the west coast and abroad, including China, required bigger and faster sailing ships. To meet these demands, naval architects set about designing bigger and faster ships that would be known as clipper ships. Speed was more important than capacity, and so they were designed with sharp bows and lots of sail. These sharp-stem clipper ships were averaging 110 days around the Horn. They were known as sharp boats, and one, the Flying Dragon, traversed the Horn in 97 days in 1853. So many of these were built in Maine, they were called State of Maine clippers. In the early 1850s, there were 4 shipyards in Maine that were building the bulk of these ships. These yards were located in Bath, Damariscotta, Kittery, and the George Thomas Yard in Rockland. In 1852, he launched the Defiance, designed by 25-year-old Samuel Hart Pooke. In spite of his young age, he was considered a genius at marine design. The Defiance was considered an extreme type of clipper. It had long concave sides, truly a sharp-looking clipper ship. Pooke bested the Defiance when he designed the Red Jacket, built for Seacombe and Taylor of Boston. The name came from Seneca chief Sagawawatha, who was born in 1750 and lived near Buffalo, New York. In the Revolutionary War, he gave assistance to the British against the colonists, for which he received a British Army Red Jacket. In the War of 1812, he switched sides and secured the release of a prisoner, Captain Samuel Taylor, who later became part of Seacombe and Taylor. Captain Taylor's way of thanking the chief was to name the new clipper ship Red Jacket. No expense had been spared in the construction of the 3-decked ship. The aftercabin, finished in rosewood, mahogany, zebra wood, black walnut, and set off with giltwork. In addition to the officers' quarters, there were 14 staterooms. The ship required a 62-man crew. 250 feet in length with a beam of 45 feet 7 inches. Gross tonnage, 2,434. It was considered one of the most beautiful ships afloat at the time. After being launched from the North End shipyard in Rockland, she was towed to New York where rigging was completed. From New York, she struck out on her maiden voyage to Liverpool, England. They encountered hail, snow, and rain every day, but nevertheless making it in just 13 days, 1 hour and 13 minutes. A record that still stands to this day for a sailing ship. Word had gotten out about this beautiful clipper ship built in Maine, and a large crowd had gathered on the dock to witness her arrival. The crowd cheered and applauded as she came about and slipped up to the pier. The Red Jacket was purchased by a British company and would continue to make news as she carried freight and passengers around the world. Within a year, the urgency to receive goods had dissipated. The economy that helped put Maine clipper ships in demand was slowing down, and while Maine was still building more ships than any of the other states, by 1857 the U.S. economy had slumped into a depression, and the glory days of shipbuilding in Maine were no more. As for the Red Jacket, she was purchased by Pillington and Wilcox, along with other investors, and chartered by the White Star Lines for a trip to Melbourne, Australia, under Captain Samuel Reed, who also owned a share in the ship. She made Melbourne in 69 days. Only one clipper ship ever made the trip faster, the James Baines. The freight business never fully recovered from the depression of that period, and in 1872 the Red Jacket joined some other once great clipper ships and became a lumber carrier from Quebec to London. In 1883 she was sold to Blandy Brothers, a Portuguese shipping company, and used as a coal hulk. Red Jacket came to an unceremonious ending when it was driven onto the rocks during a gale in 1885 with 200 tons of coal on board. The once great clipper ship was sold for 120 pounds sterling, or $600 in American currency.